Stand by. No comms at the moment. Adrian, do you want to go to spectating?
Copy.
You there?
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I'm
You've gone
spectating.
spectating?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm on it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 tonight. We are having a slightly little different format for the start of this evening's race. So, without any further delay, let's get this ball rolling. So that was our little intro for this evening, and obviously we've all aware of the sad news this week of the demise of triple championship winner Niki Lauda. So we'd like to play a little bit of a tribute to Niki for this evening. there was our tribute to the legend, indeed, that he was, Nicky Lauda. And thank you to F1 Weekends for compiling that fantastic tribute. So let's move on to the Season Drivers Championship. No moves in placings in the championship, but certainly a lot of movement in the points. Leading the way is Seb Bogart for Haas on 186 points. Damie Hartman for Ferrari is second on 154. Baz de Breen for Renault is third on 147. Rob Mulderink for Sauber is fourth on 119. John Donkel for Renault is fifth on 112. Nicky Visser for Mercedes, 77. Sixth, Marcel Dronig for Haas on 57. Peter Phillips for Toro Rosso is eighth on 46. Mark Stappers for Sauber is in ninth place on 46 points. And Zander Hermans is 10 on 41. 11 is Guido Ehrschein and Marco Pullen, both on 35 points. 13, Hans van der Berg. 14, Martin Pardica for Ferrari. 15, Boy Williamson. Let's catch up a bit there. 16, Jamie Collane for McLaren. Marcel Francis, 17. 18 is Miguel Tournier, and bringing in 19 is Kevin Van Delft. Joined in the commentary box, I am this evening by, that was a bit Yoderish, wasn't it? By my esteemed colleague, Adrian. Adrian, good evening to you.
Good evening, Eddie. Or should I say Obi-Wan?
Oh, indeed, indeed. Yes, call me the wise one.
How are we?
We're good, we're good. What do you think of this championship table? Race 13, rapidly approaching the three-quarter mark. It's looking interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much closer than it was at this stage last season. Yeah, I mean, the top three separated by, 41 points. And to be fair, it could go to any one of those three. It won't even, you've got Rob Muldrink there, who's not actually participating in this race. I believe he's banned for one race due to accumulation of penalties.
Yes, he's been a naughty boy. He's accumulated 10 penalties during the course of this season, and as such is suffering a disqualification from this race.
That's fun. I mean, it's a good opportunity for likes of John Donkel to sort of leapfrog him. Actually, I mean, he's only 7 points behind him, and certainly expecting to score more than 7 at this race. Driver of the day, last race, I believe.
Absolutely, but last year wasn't his race. Last year he crashed out before he'd even completed lap 1. So let's hope he doesn't duplicate that for this season's race.
Yeah, let's hope so. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. Want to see kind of some good battles going on for as much of this race as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, it is looking pretty tight. Obviously, still really certainly within those top 3, anyone's game. And certainly for that fourth position, John Donkel, he's got a great opportunity to move up there. But equally, Nicky Visser's got an opportunity to breach or open up that gap to 7th place Marcel Dronig in the Haas. And obviously Peter Phillips, Mark Stappers and Zander Hermans all in the 40s as well. So this is an ideal opportunity for Nicky to break that and try and see if he can get into that top 5, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Which you could say he is a deserved of. He's certainly a skilled driver, and for me, definitely he's one of my top 5 in this league. So yeah, he's got sort of every right to be vying for that position. And as we said, Mulderink's absence is going to help him in that regard.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Rob is not participating, as we know. Peter Phillips is also not participating this evening for Toro Rosso. So it's going to be interesting, certainly for that 9th place and 10th place Mark Stappers and Zander Hermans. Maybe give them an opportunity to, creep past Peter Phillips. Let's also now have a look at how this has actually impacted on the Constructors' Championship. So leading the way in the Constructors is Renault, and they're on 259 points. Second is Haas on 243 points.
not a gap at all. Only 16 points is really nothing in constructors' terms. 43 points on offer every race for a 1-2. Yeah, it's. I mean, the top three are the top three that I kind of predicted would be the top three. But you've also got Sauber in there as well, only 9 points behind the Ferraris. So yeah, you Sauber drivers, Mark Stappers and Moldering, of course. Yeah, both of those. Yeah, I mean, they're deserving of that fourth place spot. But Shane Robson here to help.
Definitely. It's it's not a good one, but there you go. Well, sorry, I do apologise for sound a bit, but unfortunately, I was kicked from the game, so I don't know if you want to check that, Adrian. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's not reflecting on the broadcast because I'm coming back in again. But yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that championship. The Constructors' Championship is as tight, obviously, as the Drivers' Championship with that 259 and 243. Ultimately, only 16 points actually dividing those constructors at this moment in time. Obviously, a bit of a gap there to Ferrari, but Ferrari are fighting it out certainly with Sauber for that third place. So going to be interesting to see how that pans out. And obviously, Mercedes there, 96. They need to get a move on, but then that reflects, I think, very much on what we were discussing with regards to the Mercedes drivers, Nicky Visser and Boy Williams. So obviously two very competent drivers, but they need to get it together if they're going to pull something back from this season, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've seen great drives from both of those actually. We saw Damien Hartman with a number of races where he'd started at the back or on the back row, and for the first 20 laps he was just eating up positions, fighting his way to the front. But ultimately, you've got to complete the race to score points, and that hasn't really happened for Mercedes for the last few races. I mean, they're both hugely skilled drivers, and you see them step fastest laps, time and time again. But you've got to complete the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, that's what it's boiled down to. He's getting that race, isn't it?
Yeah, I do expect them to be possibly fighting for that third place spot later on in the season.
Well, let's hope so. Okay, let's have a look at the track now. So here we are. This is Spa-Francorchamps. 19 corners, 3 sectors and 2 DRS points. Sector 1 obviously starts at the start-finish line, takes us up to just before turn 5 of Lecum. Sector 2 then takes us down between turns 14 and 15 for Stavelot. And then we have the DRS zones. Right, first DRS detection zone is as you come out of corner 1, coming down the hill towards turn 2, Eau Rouge, with the activation point there on the Kemmel Straight. And then the second DRS detection point is just before you reach the chicane of 18 and 19. That activates on the exit of 19 and takes you down to turn 1. I've got to say, this is one of my fave tracks. It is a tough track, but it's a lovely track. But that middle sector can be an absolute killer, can't it? That sector 2.
Yeah, it really can. And the corners just before it as well. With Eau Rouge and Radion, of course. That I expect a few, maybe even drivers to possibly find themselves in the wall there. It's always a huge risk. I mean, drivers tend to take that flat out in modern F1 cars and rely 100% on the downforce to hold them on track. But all it takes is just one little upset in the balance of the car, and you'll find yourself in the water 190 miles an hour.
Yeah, not great, that's for sure. So a tough track.
I do love this track though.
It is a beautiful track. So let's now get to the action. So there we are, and we're already in Q1, 7 minutes remaining of this queue. And let's get a little bit of information up as to what the drivers are actually doing on here. So we can see we've got Guido Airshine leading at the moment with a 1:43.8. Everyone's on the super softs. Hans van der Berg 1:44.0. Boy Williamson 1:44.0. Nicky Visser 1:44.4. Zander Hermans 1:44.4. So they're all sitting pretty much round about the sort of 1:43 mark high. 1:44 mark, high 1:43s and thereabouts at this moment in time, aren't they?
I think we're going to see a 1:42 in a minute from Bogard. Oh no, he didn't. Has he? Oh no, he hasn't invalidated. Sorry, I thought he invalidated.
Right, I've got to find him now.
43.2. He's just done.
A 43. My goodness me, Seb Bogart. That is fantastic. Seb Bogart setting a 1:43.2 in this first Q1 session.
Yeah, expecting
not
to be
necessarily unexpected, is it, Adrian? Let's be fair.
No. I was just about to say, expecting to be, really confident on this circuit, and definitely, a potential favourite for the race winner.
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree on that one. Very strong there, obviously leading the championship at this moment in time. Let's have a look down the track here. Now, Nicky Visser, we were talking about, obviously, Nicky Visser and what he needed to do. And 1:44.4 for this opening session. He's done 3 laps. Obviously, Seb's just come out and down the one straight onto there. Nicky's now coming into the pits.
Invalidated.
He needs to up his game a bit here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, as I said, he's a skilled driver, and he's certainly capable of being on the front row in this qualifying session, but in this qualifying period. But yeah, just needs to get his kind of consistency, his smoothness back, and just maintain a sort of nice, calm but quick lap.
Yeah, I was just following Damien Hartman actually into on the track, but he's coming to the pits now. Just trying to see who else is out there. So everyone's coming. Just to quickly run through what's happened in this Q1 so far. Obviously, we know we don't have Rob Muldering this evening. Kevin Van Delft from Williams. I don't believe is he in or not? Actually, I think he's got him in the pits, but I don't think he's actually in the session. No, he isn't. So he's not in the session. So Kevin Van Delft is not in. By the looks of it, we also do not have John Muss for McLaren. Peter Phillips of Toro Rosso is suffering a penalty, so he'll be starting at the back of the grid with Marcel France. So we see them there sitting 16 and 17. So 17 runners for this evening. In this Q1, we will lose 2 drivers. Who will then obviously start in position 15 and 16. At the moment, that is sitting with Jamie Collane, and Jamie's actually now out on track. So Jamie Collane, McLaren driver, and you're familiar with Jamie. You raced with him in, I think, is it Synergy League? You raced with him as well.
Yeah.
And a quick hello and a big wave and a shout out to Synergy as well.
Yeah. Hi, Synergy boys. Yes, I raced with him in Synergy PWR Division 2. Shout out to him. He's actually changed his helmet for this race. So I don't know if you're aware of that. That's not something that I've spotted. He's told me that he's changed his helmet. I don't sort of keep an eye on everyone's helmets. But
well, I was going to say a number of drivers have actually, out of respect for Nicky, decided to go for the black helmet option for this evening. So he could well be wearing maybe a Nicky Lauda, looks like, style helmet. It could be paint job. So I think you might have had that option on there.
Yeah. I haven't seen the great results from Jamie Collane, the races that he has participated in. I think he's on, what is he on, 4 points, is he? Something like that.
Yeah, at this moment in time, he's actually on 10 points.
10 points, apologies, Jamie.
He's on P16, 10 points at this moment in time in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, we just haven't seen many finishes actually from Jamie. Hopefully he can hold it together at this race. it's a difficult one to do, to be fair. As I said, with Eau Rouge,
well, I
probably
definitely,
claiming a
I'm
few
pretty
victims.
sure that Eau Rouge and, Eau Rouge especially, and maybe Radion as well, what's coming out of Eau Rouge, will claim their victims this evening. I think it's fair to mention Jamie is obviously a very competent league driver, but I think the difference here is, Adrian, these are 100% races.
Yes, yes, of course. And I believe, I mean, I know you say it every week, but I believe we are, F1 tonight is the only 100% race distance league. As you said, people have, nobody's come to correct us yet, so we'll keep saying it.
Nobody as yet has corrected us on that, and I still am waiting to be corrected. We are, or the F1 tonight are also now looking to open up into the UK and something UK League. And I know that we've got a number of drivers that are interested, but if there's anyone watching that is interested in competing in that, but in a UK version of this Dutch F1 League, full 100% races and queues as well. So, this is, as I often refer to it, proper hardcore F1 sim racing on the Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There's sort of a lot of other rules that I'm not going to go into here, but that there's rules here that I haven't seen applied in sort of other just for fun style leagues. So yeah, I definitely consider this a sort of much more hardcore league, and if people are into that, then more than welcome.
Well, indeed, and we're more than happy to accept people that want to join, and we'll see how it goes. And obviously that'll be starting for the 2019 season or version of the game, which is coming out in the next few weeks, actually.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
Indeed, it's going to be very interesting. I can hardly wait because I just want to get my hands on it and try and see what they've actually got on the spectator side. So obviously we're coming to the end of this Q1 session, and it looks like we will be dropping Peter Phillips. Peter Phillips. We already know he's starting in 16. At the moment, it's Miguel Tawney and John Donkel. So John's decided to. I don't know what he's decided there, to be quite honest.
Oh. Sorry, Eddie, you cut out at my end. It didn't cut out on the stream, I don't think.
I don't think so. I said John Donkel. He's not gone out. He's not set a time, and he's going to be starting in P15.
No, he won't be starting P15 because isn't it? It's the bottom 5 that drop. 15 goes through.
Oh, sorry,
so
you're right.
15th,
Yeah, sorry, it is Peter Phillips. Sorry, I was right. Yeah, so no, it's not. Yeah, he is. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, it is 15. Sorry, I do apologise. So even though he hasn't set a time, he will be in
I think
Q2.
you were. I think you were
looking at the rest.
That must have been you were in 2007 mode, I think.
Yeah,
when
I think
22,
so. I think so.
22 drivers.
I've just got. I'll tell you what it is, Adrian. I've just got too many buttons to press, mate. That's the problem. This broadcast does not come easily. Too many bloody buttons to press. That's all I can say.
There's so many things that I'm sure you do that nobody sees or appreciates.
Oh, dearie me. In the background, I feel like, God, I'm trying to think, who's that guy out of Spider-Man? Just trying to think what his name is, the one with all the arms. Dr. Octopus or something like that. I think it is Octagon or something.
Yeah.
So there we have Peter Phillips starting 16 and Marcel France starting 17. Only 17 drivers, obviously, so that was, ignore whatever I said in Q1. Everyone's going to go through that were in there because those two obviously were out. There's only one driver who we're going to have the 18, which is John Muss, and he's not here with us this evening. So the 15 drivers will indeed be going through now to Q2. Now this is where we're really going to get the measure of who's going to be there and who isn't. And normally we like at the end of this Q to call who think we're going to see for pole in Q3. We will do so, obviously approaching the end of this. And I was just having a look at, I think we've got some info on the weather. So it looks like all dry for quali.
Looks a bit overcast. Looks like it could rain any minute, but
it does. But I have been told that it is all dry. So we'll wait and see. Now, is that Guido Airshine? No, he wasn't the first out. I think it may have been Seb Bogart. So
I see
Seb.
De Bruyne ahead.
No,
I think.
is it De Bruyne ahead?
Oh no, sorry, yeah, Bogart. I see Bogart.
It is
with that
Bogart.
as
So
well.
Seb Bogart starts.
And it wasn't De Bruyne, it was Dunkel. Sorry.
It wasn't De Bruyne, it was Donkel. Okay. So Seb Bogart in the Haas, first man out on track. Now we're seeing obviously a bit of a mix on the tyres, some softs and also some super soft, but predominantly it looks like softs at this moment in time for this queue, doesn't it? So everyone's going to try and see if they can get through to that top 10 and try and stay on those softs.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't think it'll be that way come the end of the session. I think we might see a few of the other drivers not panic, but they do get a little bit nervous if they're in that drop zone come the end, and I'm sure they'll want to do a lap on the softer tyre just to go through the session. But plan A seems to be for the most part soft tyres.
Well, that is the way it's looking at this moment in time. So Seb Bogart currently on his out lap, just coming, I think, now into sector 3 as he comes around Coupe Porfray into Blanchiment. And I think we'll go on boards with him actually, just for his first opening lap, just so we get a feel of how that's looking. So he's coming into the chicane now. Let's go on board. So out of turn 19, there's the DRS activation point. Getting himself lined up, obviously, to take that hard right hand. Turn 1 there. Nicely done. Then we have the exit. Second detection point there. So we come down the hill now towards turn 2. And 3 Eau Rouge, Radion. And we're around now onto the camera straight DRS activation point. So he's coming to the end of sector 1 now as he comes to turn 5, 6 and 7, Lecombe. Tricky on that 7. Downhill now towards turn 8, Brussels. Hard turn this, isn't it, Adrian? It really is. You can lose so much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's difficult, especially under pressure. The added pressure of qualifying.
And then we've got the tricky turn 10 of Pouhon. 11, nice easy turn there. Let's come down to turn 12, hard right. 13, downhill now to turn 14, Stavlop. End of sector 2 into sector 3 now, turn 15. Come up, and this is where the course opens up now. You can really build up some serious speed coming around 16, 17, Blanchiment, etc. now, can't you?
Yeah, about 75-80% of sector 3 is actually at full throttle. Yes, my favourite section of the track.
Now into the final chicane, turn 18, right 19, final corner, and onto the straight. And he's set a 1:44.2 on those softs. That's pretty good. Just not, I mean, considering we look to 1:42 on the super softs, that's not too bad. John Donkel in the Renault there. He's just set a 1:44.7.
Donkel's lap. I mean, he set that on the super soft tyre. He is actually sort of 7 tenths down in the first sector, 2 tenths down in the last sector. But his middle sector, he actually gained 3 tenths on Bogart. It looked like he was gonna be the number 1 in this session. But no, decent time.
Yeah, certainly a decent time there from John Donkel. And Damie Hartman in the Ferrari, provisional third with a 1:45.1 there. Then we have the Mercedes driver of Boy Williamson, currently 4th. And then his teammate, Nicky Visser there.
All
so
purple first sector from
time. Who's that?
Purple first sector from Boy on the soft tyre.
Really? Wow. Okay, so let's.
I think he's assisted. I think he's been assisted by his teammate.
He's getting a tow, I think, from his teammate, isn't he? By the looks of it.
Yeah, and it's a good lap, or a good first half of the lap from Visser as well. Yeah,
We're on
keep an
board
eye on
with
Mercedes, I think.
Boy Williamson at this moment in time for Mercedes, and we said they needed to up their game, and it is important that they do that here, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I think they're on target at the moment. This is, of course, just one lap, but it's a lap in the right direction.
Well,
good times from both drivers. Visser, half a second quicker than his teammate in that sector.
Nicky Visser just coming round Poohon now, and Boy Williamson just behind him. Oh, yes, fastest. Boy moves up to third, and Nicky Visser, look at that. Nicky Visser has actually taken provisional pole in this queue. He's going to be a happy little bunny, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, be really pleased to be beating Bogard on the same tyre. That's going to do wonders for his confidence.
So Nicky Visser sets a 1:43.9 and nearly 3/10 faster than Seb Bogart there.
Mm. And to be fair, actually, the other Mercedes, Williamson, he's almost equalled Bogart's time. He's like, a blink of an eye behind him, 3 100ths, nearly 4 100ths.
And it's not looking too bad there. And these soft runners are not doing too bad. John Donkel is out on the super softs. Marco Pullen there for Force India is in fourth at this moment in time. So good run there from Marco. We know he's capable of doing it, but he just hasn't been able to put it together in recent races. So do you think he's got his mojo back here at Belgium, the way it's looking?
It does look like it, yeah. It's good to see him in up as high as fourth. He's certainly got skill. He's one of those drivers, actually, Marco. He's one of those drivers that he's kind of almost there. He's almost the same level, as De Bruyne and Visser, Williamson, Bogart. He's almost there, but not quite. I think, depend on how he does sort of towards the end of this season. Yeah, I think he'll be one to watch for next season.
Yeah, well, as I say, I mean, he's been there before, but it's just, he's found it difficult. And I think it's got a lot to do with, practice as well. I mean, it's so important that you get the practice in. Baz de Bruyne is currently sitting fifth, John Donkel sixth, Hans van der Berg not looking too bad there in seventh at this moment in time. He's on the softs as well, set a 1:44.8. But, don't know, maybe, he's sitting sort of around about that midfield moment at the moment. And I've got to say, I'm a bit surprised. I would expect him to be a little bit higher up. Maybe we'll see how his next couple of runs go.
It's slightly skewed by the fact you've got a couple of drivers on the soft tyre ahead of him. And to be fair, they're only ahead of him by a tenth or two. And, with respect, there's about 3/4 of a second difference between the soft and the super soft tyre. So you could say it's a slightly disappointing performance, actually, from the Renault guys. But yeah, we'll have to see what their race pace is like. But in terms of Van der Berg's time, I don't think he should be looking at his position at this point. Just look at his time in comparison to the other soft runners. I think he'd be reasonably pleased with that.
Yeah, I think you're right with the soft runners, and you say he's got a couple of super softs ahead of him, which are the Renault team. Damie Hartman currently down in 10. He's come out on a fresh set of super softs. So clearly those softs weren't working for him.
No, clearly not. Well, it could come back to him being in the drop zone with 5 minutes remaining. So, plan A was to start on the softs, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. He doesn't want to give himself a typically difficult job like he tends to do in qualifying. So he's gone out on the super soft just to get through, and then just go for plan B for the start of the race.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much going to be it. Again, strategy-wise, it's lap-wise, it's short, but not obviously distance. 44 laps is what we're looking at. You think, 44 laps, that's not much. But, it is on this track. That's for sure. It's a lifetime.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, all race distances in F1 have to be at least 300 kilometers, or a maximum of 2 hours. And yeah, I mean, it's what's it, about a 7 kilometer lap at Spa? It's one of the longest on the calendar.
I think 7.1 or something like just over. I think it is.
Yeah,
I'm going from memory. I'm not looking this up.
Actually...
I'm just trying to remember, and I'm pretty sure it's 7.1.
I think Singapore is actually the longest circuit. I'll have to look that up. But, I know for years it was always Belgium. But yeah, 44 laps. It just doesn't seem like it's very long. But these are minute 45 laps. So yeah, we're still going to see about 100 minutes.
Well, we are on board with Damien at this moment in time. I don't know if you got. Can you see his sector times there? He's coming to the end. I've got a feeling this is looking a pretty fast lap.
It's an improvement. Yeah, it's an improvement. It's not quite as quick as the boys at the front, which is expected to be. It should actually be beating them in.
Well, he's up in second.
Effectively.
144.1. Adrian, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's done well. He's done well, but by his own standards, I think he could have done better. He should be about half a second faster on that tyre than he is. But it's enough to go through, and that's what he was aiming to do. So that's what he's done.
Well, this is interesting. I mean, look, we've got 3 minutes remaining. Mark Stappers is currently sitting 10th on that 1:45.0. We've got Zander Hermans on a 1:45. Is it 6? I can't quite make it out because I've got the screen so small here.
Yes.
In 11th, he's in the pits. Martin Parder Cooper is out. He's done a 1:45.9. So let's go with Martin. Oh, dearie me. Sorry, I've still got that up. I didn't mean to have that up there. Let's go with Martin Parder Cooper. So Martin Parder Cooper for Ferrari, they're currently sitting 13th. He should be able to improve on this, shouldn't he? I mean, we should see him in that 10.
Yeah, it should do. This is an improvement. I'm just going to try and see by how much actually. Is it enough to go ahead of P10 Stappers? Well, I would say so. Yeah, he's 3 tenths faster than Stappers in the first sector.
So he's not looking too bad there. He's just coming out into sector 3 now. So final sector.
Temp slower in the middle. Still up overall. I think he's going to do it, but is there anyone behind him? Dronig's out on a lap as well. I think Parder may go P10, which he does. And I think
he goes P10. But as you said, we've got Marcel Dronig out there as well at this moment in time. And he's currently sitting in P14. It does mean that we've got Mark Stappers now in the drop zone. He's on an out lap. Jamie Collane is out as well, as is Zander Hermans and Marcel Dronig. So all these guys now, this is going to be critical now, isn't it? I mean, they need to get sub that 1:44.9. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Collane is actually on the lap now, but unfortunately it's invalid. He's saving his energy. He's going to go for one more. He's got plenty of time to get to the lines actually at the bus stop now. So yeah, all
Marcel Dronig doesn't better that time. He's
no, that was his out lap.
That was his out lap. Yeah. So Zander Hermans, he's on his fast lap. Zander Hermans is on his fast lap, and it is not faster. Although he's just gone purple in sector 1 just now. So he's just gone purple sector 1. Zander Hermans here for Toro Rosso. And we've seen him doing really well in the queues and in the races, to be fair. I mean, he's got a great season for him. He's sitting right in the middle of the board, P10 on 41 points. I've got to say, I've come to the point where I expect him to be in that Q3 now. Yeah, he's a definite sort of Q3 mainstay, or at least he's entitled to be based on his performances. He's getting more and more consistent every race, and he's got the raw pace. He just needs to make the most of it in the races. Purple sector 2 as well. So
Faster
purple
than Damie
sector
Hartman on the
2.
same tyre.
He's done previously a 1:45.6. He needs
This is
to
a great
better
lap.
a 1:44.9, and by the sounds of it, he's looking at it. I mean, this is looking very fast indeed. My goodness me.
Yeah, mid 33, 43, I think.
A 1:43.6.
36.
That puts him in pole for this Q2 session. What a fantastic lap there from Zander Hermans.
Brilliant. Guido, sorry, Guido Ehrschein just
Guido
gone fast.
Ehrschein,
43.5.
sorry about that.
Where did that come from?
Quickly jump up to Guido Ehrschein there. Guido Ehrschein does it at the end as well there with a 1:43.5.
Stappers as well. He's made it through. He's gone P4.
And
So he's pushed out. He's pushed out Donkel.
1:44.0. My goodness me. So now that means John Donkel will be starting P11. Hans van der Berg will be 12. Martin Paardenkoper 13, row 7, and Jamie Collane in the McLaren will be alongside him. Well, that was unexpected, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Respect to Guido. I did not see that coming. Donkel, yeah, he's invalidated this lap, so that is it now.
Are we seeing sort of track progression here? Do you think in this queue?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the conditions now compared to what they were at the start of the session as well. I was saying it was quite murky, but the sun has really come out, and yeah, the rubber's just getting laid down lap after lap. Yeah, that has been a big factor. But Ehrschein and Hermans, great laps.
Nothing to take away from them. Still a fantastic lap. Absolutely, no, totally agree with you. Not detracting from those guys at all. But what an amazing lap there.
Guido's lap, I mean, it took us by surprise because none of his sectors were actually that brilliant. But because other drivers' laps had a couple of brilliant sectors and then one poor sector, all of his were actually decent. And in fact, his final sector was not the fastest he'd actually done in that session.
Amazing.
So he's still got more in there.
So there you have it. Those are our top 10 drivers there in the drop zone. John Donkel, he'll be starting row 6, P11. Alongside him, Hans van der Berg in the Williams. Row 7 will be Martin Paardenkoper in the Ferrari P13. And alongside him will be Jamie Collane in the McLaren in P14. And row 8 will be Miguel Torney. And alongside him will be Peter Phillips in 16, and Kevin van Delft will be starting in 17. So let's now get on. I've got to remember these, even though I've just introduced them, keep forgetting to take them off.
I don't know. Sorry, before you move on, I don't know if you noticed there. They actually put Mark Stappers as P10, and in fact, he's not in this session. He qualified in 4th at the end of Q2. It put his time last, 10th. Even though it was faster than there was only 3 people faster than him. But yeah, it's removed him from this session. I don't know whether he had an accident.
Yeah, that's a fair point because he could well have done, couldn't he?
But to be fair, he crossed the line on the after the time had run out, which means that was his final lap. So yeah, I don't quite know why the game has taken his car out of this session.
That's a bit of an odd one. And as we expected, just want to double check there. All the drivers obviously will be on the Super Softs. And it looks like, I think it's it. No, it wasn't Boy Williamson. It's Nicky Visser is actually first man out on track at this moment in time. So Nicky Visser leading the way.
Eddie, do you want to call pole position?
No, not really.
No, me neither.
Can we give it a miss this week? Do you think?
You know what I had in mind, right? Watching Q1. I had in mind, and in fact, a lot of Q2. I had in mind the Mercedes drivers. They were looking like they were on fire. compared to the others. Um, yeah, I mean, they looked like they just had the track sort of nailed down. They had just the right setup. But then, you had the likes of Herman's going top, and then Greedo as well after that. And dare I say it, I think I don't want to jinx the man, but I think Guido might be on pole for this race.
Well, I mean, let's put it like this. I mean, certainly an incredibly strong finish to Q2 for him. It was a 1:43 though. Ultimately, we know we can get faster than that. I'm actually going to go with Nicky Visser.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Nicky Visser for this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. For me, it was going to be one of the Mercedes drivers, and I thought that was based on their pace in that qualifying session, or in the early part of that qualifying session at least. Yeah, it looked like it was going to be one of them. Yeah, that could be a good shout, Nicky. But I'll stick with Guido.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy one to call, whichever way you do it. To be perfectly fair, but I think you're right. I think Guido does stand a great chance and a great opportunity to get there. Definitely.
Yeah. I love it when it's unpredictable like this. It's brilliant. Much different to the actual F1.
Yeah, it is. And as it runs at this moment in time, it certainly is. That's for sure. But I was actually posted on one of the F1 pages. Somebody was making a comment on how boring this current real world season is. And I've got to say, not too dissimilar from a number of seasons when Schumacher was with Ferrari and they were totally dominating, which was in the noughties, sort of 90s noughties. And a lot of people were saying exactly the same thing. And you've seen it happen previously. You saw it happen in the, God, I'm trying to think who it was, in the 70s. May not be in the 70s, but certainly in the 60s with the dominance of a number of teams. For quite a lot of time, and I think it's just the way that F1 rolls. In all sincerity,
yeah, you kind of have these periods, don't you? Sort of 4, 5, 6 years where it's always one team. They just have their package right, and their success leads to more success, which leads to more success. The times when it changes is when they have a sort of drastic change of the rules, or the restrictions on the cars, and that kind of levels the playing field slightly. And if one team could get a little head start on that, then that tends to help them. It's kind of what happened with Red Bull. They changed the rules at the start of the 2000. Well, actually changed in the 2009 season, and they were developing the 2010 car then, and then that led to the sort of dominance of Red Bull in that era. And then we're seeing the same with Mercedes in this hybrid era. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Schumacher. I mean, I grew up watching Schumacher. I mean, I completely idolised him. He was sort of probably his biggest fan out there. But I mean, to watch him dominate so much and for so long, even as a huge fan of Schumacher and of Ferrari, it got boring for me. I have to say.
I've got to say, I loved F1. I wasn't so much into the stats and all the rest of it. I just loved watching the racing. And I found it at that time, and I remember having conversations with people at that time exactly around that. And I think that's where we are with Mercedes. But no team stays dominant for a prolonged period of time. And I've got to be, I mean, we're going to see rule changes, obviously. We've seen some this year. We're going to see them next year. But 2021 is apparently the big one for the rule changes.
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of teams up and coming. McLaren seem to be improving in the real world season this year. And I expect them to be, getting back up there as well. Renault, we know that Renault have won multiple championships in the past. They're more than capable, and I'm sure that they will be up there. Danny Ricciardo didn't move to Renault for no good reason. I think he was totally aware that this 2019 season would be a scrub for him, but I think he's looking at 2021, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I kind of feel for Renault slightly. They're worthy of success. They've had success, and hopefully they turn it around. But 5 minutes left in this session. got Bogard top at the moment on a 43.0, which I think that's faster than we saw in Q2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely looking that way at this moment in time. And I think that's a pretty comfortable turn. You got Baz de Breen for Renault. He's currently second in 143.4. Then we've got Damie Hartman in third, 143.6. Then we've got Boy Williamson actually ahead of Nicky Visser with a 143.9. Zander Hermans, as I said there, we saw him put in there. He's currently sitting in that P5 position. Nicky Visser P6 and that 144.0. I'm sure Nicky can do better than that. Marco pulling his 7, but it looks like Marco has actually gone out. I don't know if he's DNF'd or whether what's happened there.
I think he has, I saw a yellow flag. I tried to sort of go to him. I didn't see where he'd actually crashed, but it did come up that he retired.
We're on board at the moment. Guido Airshine. Let's see what Guido. See if he can pull another rabbit out of the bag. He hasn't been able to set a time as yet, though.
No, his last lap was actually invalidated. It was looking pretty good until that moment. I think he did enough to save the battery for this lap. He was a little bit. He looks like the back end sliding around quite a lot. But perhaps that's. That'll be his ballast being the main reason for that. But I'm sure that he has tried various other setups, and this is one he's most comfortable with. Oh, it's invalidated again.
I think he's just determined to get another good race in, isn't he? Really.
Yeah, he needs it. He really does need it. Just to get his mojo back. It seems to be a lack of mojos at the Force India.
This is a mojo-free area at the moment.
Well, he was he was the fastest man in Q2, so there's no denying his pace, but it's just he needs to put his lap together, focus.
Indeed, I do know a joke for that, but unfortunately, not for this stream.
Tell me off air.
I'll tell you later, Adrian. It's not that funny actually, but anyway, it's the double entendre that comes into play, unfortunately, on that one. So Guido Airshine still remains to set a time. Can he do it now? He certainly needs to. He's got. He's probably got what? This lap.
He could do two more laps. Yeah, but it's probably more the fuel he'd be worried about at this point.
He's going to have to go.
He's been out there for 3 laps now. Yep.
He goes lean and mean, and hopefully he'll be able to carry it through.
Yeah, he's committed. I'm just keeping an eye on his first sector timing. He just comes down the long straight. Good. Well, actually, it's matched Bogard.
Wow.
Almost exactly. Hang on.
Wow.
That's Bogard's last lap, not his fastest lap. Apologies. Oh, it's only a 10th off, though. It's only a 10th off.
So it's only a 10th off Seb Bogart's Q1 fast lap there. So this is looking promising at the moment for the Force India driver of Guido Airshine. We know he has the ability. Let's see what he can do now as he approaching the end of Sector 2. Coming down now to Stavlot. Out of Sector 2 to Sector 3 now as he comes around 15 in the final sector. And I've got to say, it's not looking too bad at this moment in time. Oh no, he's lost. Has he lost a lot of time there? No, it's not looking too bad. No, it's looking okay.
At the moment, he's on par for second place at 43.3.
So can Guido Airshine pull it out of the bag as he comes round the final turn 19, hits that DRS, comes over the line, and he's sitting in the second row, third, 143.5. Now that is respectable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Very well done. I think he'll actually be disappointed with that. As I said, I think he'd actually lost 2 tenths in the last sector. Damie Harmon's just gone fastest in the last sector, improved his time to 43.2.
Wow.
His first sector was really off the pace though. That was a really good lap considering that.
Damie Hartman is currently... That's fantastic. Look at that. Do you think he can better
Visser
that?
looking to improve.
Do you think he can push Baz de Breen?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I mean, it's
there's only
a thousandth of a second
between
in
de Breen
it,
and Hartman. Yeah, that's crazy. Visser also improving his lap. He's on par with Bogard in the first sector.
So we'll stay on board at the moment with Damie because he's obviously further down the track as he comes around turn 10 there. And let's see what he can do. But we could both be wrong by the looks of it, Adrian, if things carry on like this.
Yeah. As I said, so unpredictable. Oh, it's good second sector as well from Nicky. 2/10 off the top. I think he's going to be second row.
What can this Ferrari driver do? He's sitting at the moment in time second in the championship. He was leading the Drivers' Championship.
Where's he gone? Oh, he's gone second. 43.1. Wow, that last sector was insane. Hartman went purple in the middle sector.
It doesn't improve. So Damie Hartman was actually going to stay in that fourth place. But Nicky Visser, well, what can we say about Nicky Visser here? Fantastic job from him. Getting that second place with a 1:43.1. So he'll be in that front row alongside Seb Bogart. I mean, well, I did call him for pole, and I was hoping, but I'm quite happy with that. He's sitting in the second place there.
Yeah, it's a really, really good lap. Good, consistent lap as well, which is it's just such a key factor here. Yeah, I mean, none of his individual sector times were that spectacular, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, he just had sort of this seemed to be the second or third fastest in every sector on the same lap, which is what has got him that P2 spot. So yeah, expect him. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he starts this race. That is going to be key. I believe P2 is on the inside, which will be important.
Yes, it is, especially when you're coming up to that turn 1, isn't it?
Yeah. Keep an eye on that. If he gets a good start, this could be his race.
This could be. He could actually lead the way, in all sincerity. So there we have it. Seb Bogart, Nicky Visser in the front row. Baz de Breen, Damie Hartman in that second row. Then we have Boy Williamson and Guido Airshine in the third row. And row 4, Zander Hermans and Marco Pullen. And then bringing up the fifth row will be Marcel Dronig and Mark Stappers, who we haven't seen here. So that's...
I've actually got De Bruyne and Hartman on the same lap time on my telemetry. I don't quite know what that's about, but that is ridiculously close. 1/1000.
Well, it is 1/1000th. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It could only be better if they were teammates, really.
Wonder if they're using the same setup.
Well, you never know. It is possible. I've got to say, it's unlikely because obviously they adopt two very different
competitors.
Well, and different driving styles as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Damie is still, I think, a little bit sort of footloose. Whereas, Baz, he's pretty much sort of, he's got it down the line, really, hasn't he? It's,
Yeah, generally quite solid in his racecraft and his strategy calls.
And the way the car sits on the track as well, it's always pretty well planted. You don't tend to see a lot of sort of, tail end slide from Baz de Breen, really, or indeed his former teammate Seb Bogart.
Although, ironically, we did see it at Hungary last week.
We did see it last week, and we were quite surprised by it, weren't we?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, it was the first time I'd ever seen Baz spin out like that. But yeah, it happened.
So maybe he's gone for the more planted setup as it is at this moment in time. And, just a nice little shot there of Marcel Dronig's Haas as he stopped And we're going to be going into Q3 now. We're going to run through the 17 drivers and positions, and obviously on the processional lap as well. So there you have it. Seb Bogart takes pole position with that stunning 142.698. Then we have second place Nicky Visser with 143.1. He'll be in alongside him. Row 2, Baz de Breen, Damie Hartman. Row 3 will be Boy Williamson and Guido Airshine. Row 4, Zander Hermans and Marco Pullen. And then row 5 will be Marcel Dronig and Mark Stappers. Adrian, time to call the winner. Adrian, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I nearly fell off my chair. Not for any other reason other than clumsiness.
Oh right, okay. Well, stop being so damn clumsy and tell me who you think's going to win.
I said keep an eye on Mercedes. I'm sticking with that. I'm not going to go for Visser though, which might be the more obvious given his starting position. But I'm going to go with Boy Williamson for the race. I think it's going to hugely depend on sort of the opening few corners, really, even though it's a 44-lap race. But yeah, I mean, we've seen him start races from P15 and he's climbed up to sort of P5 within 10 laps. So the fact that he's P5 here, I think that gives him a good chance.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair shout. I've got to say, I'm actually going to go with Baz de Breen.
Oh, really? I genuinely thought you were going to say Nicky.
No, I'm going to go with Baz de Breen because he's sitting in that P3 position at this moment in time, and he is a master strategist. And if I remember right, I think he is starting on the softs, isn't he?
Yes, he was one of the soft starters.
So on that basis,
oh no, he wasn't. The two Renaults were starting on the super softs. Remember, they were a little bit off the pace.
That's right. So, but I'm going to go with him because he was off the pace. I think he's got the car.
You think he's more set up for the race than for qualifying, perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, it could well be. And we've seen him win many races in the past. You know, he is an ex-champion as well.
Well, we'll see. Only time will tell, as they say.
Drivers readying up.
Yep, drivers are indeed getting ready now. So we'll get started with the processional lap. So I have called Baz de Breen for the win. And Adrian has... I've forgotten who did you call? Damie? Seb?
No, it was Boy. Went for Boy Williamson.
Boy, that's the one. Boy, oh boy. So there we
right in the headlines already.
Yeah, indeed. P1 will be Seb Bogart in the Haas. Alongside him will be Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. Then row 2. Oh, Baz de Breen has just gone into the wall. I don't think he wanted to do that. And he's got back to the start. So Baz de Breen will be starting in third. Fourth, Damie Hartman. Damie Hartman has actually gone out as well. So that's wrong. It's actually Boy Williamson. So they'll be starting there. Boy Williamson is going to be starting in fifth position. Then we have Guido Airshine in sixth. Zander Hermans in seventh. Marco Pullen will be starting P8. P9 will be Marcel Dronig, although he's back on the grid. Mark Stappers will be P10. And then we have John Donkel, and he'll be starting in P11. Alongside him will be Hans van der Berg in the Williams, starting P12. And P13 will be Martin Parder Cooper in the Ferrari. P14, Jamie Collane in the McLaren. And starting alongside him will be Miguel Torni in the Red Bull. Then we have, where is he? Peter Phillips will be starting in P16. Although he's back on the grid. And then Marcel France will be starting in P17, and he's also on the grid at this moment in time. So, there we have it. We are ready to go.
Sorry, Eddie, I've just received an invite from Baz. Are they migrating the session, perhaps?
I don't know. We will soon find out.
I think we should continue as normal.
We will continue
anyway,
as we
until
are.
we hear otherwise. Everyone's DNF. I think we're migrating the session.
We are migrating the session. Yeah, we are migrating the session.
Yeah, I saw Peter Phillips jump out, or it said he left the session. I think it was confirmed. Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but with the league, if you do restart the session at the end of qualifying, the ties are refreshed. So you start on completely fresh ties. And for that, as my championship, what happens in qualifying, it records the tire status or tyre condition.
I've picked the in, but I can get in, so I don't know what's happening here.
No problem. I can ping you on. I've got it.
Oh, I've got it now. Just got it. Okay, so we're rejoining the session. So apologies for those of you watching. What's happened here is that we've had a host issue with some of the drivers where they weren't able to actually get back in to the race. So it's a technical issue on the server side. And we are attempting to rejoin the session now. I'm still not being able to join this. I'm going to get this one. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to do it and restart. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So yeah, basically what happened is a couple of drivers couldn't get in. So they crashed, or the server crashed, so they had to migrate that server and get the guys back on board. Sorry, Adrian, I was a little bit sort of off on concentration there.
Yeah, no problem. I was saying about the tyres. Yeah, because one reason that lots of drivers in sort of other leagues and things that don't like restarts after quali, because it sort of puts everyone back on a level playing field again in terms of their tyre conditions. But because F1 Tonight run an online championship rather than it just being a sort of standalone race, it actually records the conditions of the tyres and everyone's qualifying positions as well at the end of quali. So you can quit at the end of quali and it will save it.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's rather handy, Harry.
Yeah, means not having to, muck about with the grid order and things like that.
That makes it an awful lot easier, doesn't it?
Mm.
Well, we are back in the session now, and they're just about to start up. So we will start on, I guess we'll start on that formation lap again, won't we?
Yes.
Well, it'll have to be quick fingers on my side then. Getting well versed in it, it doesn't matter now.
Oh, the lobby has started. It's allowed me to spectate. I'm just loading in now.
Indeed,
So, yeah.
and same here. So we can safely say that we are cooking on butane. For those of you in Holland, it's an English term, cooking on gas. And I was just making a bit of a play on that. It's not so funny when you have to explain it, though, is it, Adrian?
Not really, no. It wasn't that funny before you explained it.
Are you saying that my witty quips are not amusing, Adrian?
Perhaps I've heard too many of them. I'm sure it's hilarious.
You haven't heard enough, my friend. You haven't heard enough.
I feel sorry for your wife, that's all I can say.
And it's a good job that I'm on the headset and everything else is muted.
I love you, really, you know.
Yeah, they all say that. They all say that, but I still get the P45.
Please don't leave.
Just loading up their setups, getting ready. And there we have it. So, we are back again. So let's do a rewind. And here we are now as we go. Oh, yes, we go on board with Seb Ogard. He'll be starting in a P1 front row. Alongside him. Oh, yeah, could be. Alongside him will be Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. P3 will be Baz de Breen. P4, Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. P5, Boy Williamson in the Mercedes. P6, Guido Ehrschein in that Force India. Let's see what he can do for this race. P7 will be Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso. Marco Pullen in the second Force India is P8. Then we have Marcel Dronig, will be in P9 for Haas. P10, we then have Mark Stappers for Sauber. P11, surprisingly, John Dunkel, but I've got the feeling that he will undoubtedly be starting on the softs. Yes, no great surprise there.
Yeah, 3 races in a row now, I think he's started P11.
Is it really? Well, he didn't do so bad last week, did he? Let's be fair. So, John Dunkel starting P11 there. Then we've got P12, Hans van der Berg in the Williams. P13, Martin Paardenkoper in the Ferrari. And we have P14, Jamie Collane in the McLaren. Then we have P15, Miguel Torni in the Red Bull. P16 will be Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. And bringing up the rear, P17, Marcel France in the Red Bull.
Jamie Collane's left the session.
So, Collane has left the session, so I don't know if there's an issue there with regard to him.
Should be okay if he does rejoin the race. It will start his car, though he'll be right at the back.
Well, the drivers are now lining up on the grid in anticipation of the start of this F1 tonight, Season 5, Spa-Francorchamps, Belgian Grand Prix. The lights are lighting up and we are off for the start of this race. Seb Bogart leads the way, Nicky Visser still alongside, but look at this, Damien Baz de Breen's got through to the third, and then he's got into second place. Nicky Visser drops down into third, Damie Hartman drops down to 5, Seb Bogart leads the way, but Baz de Breen is right with him there. Nicky Visser stays in third, Damie Hartman 4, Boy Williamson is 5, but look at this, Guido Ehrschein is right on the gearbox, and Zander Hermans on that Toro Rosso there, as they're coming out now onto the Camel Straight. Looks like Clayton. Look at that, Mark Strappers straight past Guido Ehrschein.
Strappers up 3 places.
On that Camel Straight.
4 places. Just go past Williamson. Great move.
fantastic job there from Mark Stappers. Sander Herman's up to 5th, Damien Hartman 4th, Nicky Visser's dropped down to 3. Baz de Breen, as I said, is in 2nd place, and Seb Bogart stays the way. So Nicky Visser loses out there. Sander Herman's goes up 2 to 5.
Ashton's just passed Williamson as well. Williamson down 3.
Boy, Williamson, he's right down 3 places there. Good goodness.
Ashton with a move on Stappers into Puon.
Nope. Greedo Airshine trying to make that move indeed on Stappers. And this is looking really, really close here for this 6th place. And boy, Williamson is only just behind these two. You can see how close they are.
Vandenberg all over Boy's Mercedes as well. And Boy's gone wide. He's got past.
He can't get past Hans van der Berg.
Yeah, Boy just hemorrhaging places. I don't know if there's damage to his car. I know there was a bit of will to will with Hartman through Rouge. Not coming into the pit, so you can assume the car is drivable.
Well, that was very interesting indeed, but very important here was that move that Baz de Breen made in getting into that 2nd place, wasn't it, Adrian? That was pretty critical there.
Yeah, a brilliant start from Baz. It looked like actually Damien had quite a good start in the initial phase, but as they approached the corner, he actually lost place to Nicky, and then as I said, that with Boy up the Rouge. But yeah, De Breen and Vista, looking strong to start. De Breen obviously more so after leapfrogging him.
Yeah, definitely. He's done a good move there. Nicky Visser obviously has dropped just down behind him, but he's just over a second behind Baz de Breen. Damie Hartman, though, is, 4/10 behind Nicky Visser, and I don't think Damie's going to be looking to stay there too much longer, is he, by the looks of it?
No, I think he'll take him probably on the DRS, the first DRS straight once the DRS is activated, of course, in the next lap. Stappers and Herman are looking very good, and Vandenberg as well. Up 2, 4, and 5
got to
places,
say.
probably.
Marcel
France.
Stappers.
Sorry, France are down in 11th. Actually started 17th. That is a really good opening couple of laps for the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, but he needed it, didn't he? I mean, he was starting right at the back of the grid there, Marcel France. 6 places. It's really important for him, and it's going to be quite a boost for the start of this race for him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to see how he got Donko ahead. Probably Boyd Williamson, as I said, Boyd's just losing ground on the people in front of him, and the ones behind him are eager to overtake.
So John Donkel is definitely suffering here, isn't he?
I don't know if I'd go too far as to say suffering. I think he's just holding his ground at the moment. He's just at one place. That's because Dronig actually suffered damage. He comes to the pit at the end of the first lap. Sorry, not Dronig, Torning.
But, I'm just looking on here, but as well, Boy Williamson, not a great start from him. Down 4 places. He's, started 5th, 3rd row. Now he's down to 9th.
Yeah, I have to feel partly responsible. Called him to win the race, and it's not been a great start for him. He does seem to actually do better when he does start at the back and fights his way through. But yeah, it was a bit congested in the initial. I'm sure there is damage because he's got some massive unders here. Don looking to pass very soon indeed. But if I accept the one, who is that for? I don't know.
Well, let's have a look here now. So let's have a quick look through this now. So Seb Bogart leading the way. He's 1.7 seconds ahead of 2nd place Baz de Breen. And let's have a quick look at the tyre choices for these drivers, because obviously that will come into play. Both Seb and Baz are on the softs. Nicky Visser is in third place. He's also
Sorry.
on soft, so looking pretty good there.
This just went wide at turn 1. Thought Hartman was going to make the move, just following them as they go up over Rouge now.
I've got to say, he's looking that way at this moment in time. Damie Hartman is alongside, gets past him.
Yeah, Biff's got nothing left in his DRS. Can't defend that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So Damie Hartman makes the move on Nicky Visser and gets past him and takes that third place. Now he is on the super softs. He's going to be pitting in before Nicky Visser at this moment in time, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is. But it was important for him to overtake on track. He needed to do that rather than sit behind Visser for too long, because he'll be losing ground to the two ahead, who are, I believe, also on the soft tyre. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so needed to pass Nicky quickly. Needed.
Really, Damien needs to try and put as much clear air between him and Nicky Visser as he possibly can now.
Yes, he does, yeah. Yeah, but he's going to be...
And ideally, he wants to try and get past Baz de Breen and Seb Bogart as well, because he's got the advantage on the super. So I'm just looking at the time here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is doable within his window of those tyres.
Absolutely, yeah. He wants to overtake both of those drivers on track before his pit stop. Yeah, it's easier said than done. So, of course, they finished first and second in the championship last season. Completely dominated for Ferrari, the two of them. Ironically, the team that Hartman now drives for.
Yeah, but I've got to say, Damien Hartman's putting in a great show this season 5. He has been leading the championship until recently. I think he's got it in him, you know. I'm not going to take it away from him. I really do think he's got it in him.
Yeah, he's really, really taken the fight to Bogart, especially. Yeah, I honestly didn't expect. I mean, I know Hartman is a great driver, but you know, we saw how dominant Bogart was last season. It's really sort of encouraging to see drivers attack him like that, and the fact that Hartman was leading for so long is a testament to that. Yeah,
no, that's definitely true. And he's currently got in that third place.
Donkel is now past Boy Williamson.
So John Donkel has got past Boy Williamson. That was an important move for him. He needed to get past him on track, didn't he? Because they're on the same set of tyres.
Yeah, the boy's car is looking horrible. I have to say, he's kind of bouncing around. The rear tyres were spinning. Oh, sorry, Sander Herman's lost it. Oh, he lost it at the end of Puhong.
Miguel Torney's gone out as well, so Miguel Torney has DNF'd, and that's only recently, I think. And Sander Hermans has gone out as well.
Yeah.
There we go.
At the end of Puhong,
on the exit of Puhong, on the exit of turn 11. So Sander Hermans is out. Unusual place to go, I've got to say.
Not for me, it is. I know you referred to Puhong as being quite an easy corner. I don't personally find it easy at all. But then that could be just my setups. But yeah, it's typically meant to be flat out. But if I get my line slightly
flat
off
out, I've never ever, well, maybe once done it flat out, because it's just like, yeah, I've got to say, I knock it down a gear as I come into the corner and thrash the hell out of it, and then go up a gear as I'm on the exit.
Yeah.
Turn 11.
Yeah, I mean, you decelerate slightly as you enter the corner, but it's kind of. I mean, it's about 170 miles an hour. You're actually doing around the corner, maybe 3 or 4 G. You're pulling as you go around. But I always seem to struggle with the back end on that bend. Parker was just past Pullen at the same corner actually where Donkel passed Boy on the previous lap.
So Parker Cooper's now up to P10, and these super soft runners, they're starting to carve their way through the field now, aren't they? And this is going to be interesting because, you know, if we look a little bit further up the field, obviously Parker Cooper now is 4 seconds off the back of Williamson. But if we look a little bit further up the field for sort of like 5th and 6th place, and well, currently 7th, Guido's in 7th, he's on the super softs. Hans van der Berg is also on the super softs, he's in 6th. Mark Stappers is in 5th, also on the super softs. Now they've got a great start, both Stappers and Hans van der Berg, at the cost of Ershon, I think, to a degree. And he's looking to get some payback on here, isn't he? I think Ershon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw how fast he was in Q2. We know he's got the pace, and to be fair, the two drivers ahead of him are on the same tyre as him, so there's slightly less pressure to try and overtake them, sort of in this phase of the race. The pressure is on really is on Steppers to try and get past Nicky, who's on the slower tyre. That's where the pressure is at this point, because the longer he sits behind him, the worse off he's going to be. It's not quite so bad for the two behind Steppers, so it's kind of, I'd say it's kind of an advantage Vandenberg at this point, but probably not for much longer.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, because
It's a penalty for
how this is actually going to play out.
Yeah.
I mean, Hans van der Berg at the moment, he's sitting in that 6th place. He's got Guido Ershine 2.5 seconds behind him. He wants to close down to Stappers, but he doesn't seem to be able to close down that gap too much. He's hovering around about sort of the 1.5 second gap to Stappers.
Well, what we're actually seeing from Vandenberg here is a bit of the sort of De Green-esque management in terms of his ERS. He's saving up the energy for the attack at the later point in this stint on these tyres, probably a couple of laps before he comes in. I think he's going to completely go for it and hope that Stappers is not saving his ERS, which he's saving it, but not as much as Vandenberg is. So I think that's what he's trying to do. He's going to make the move under ERS.
You think that's what he's looking to do, is just stay behind him and then build up his ERS and then go effectively on the attack then? That's what we're going for then, is it?
Yeah, sure of that.
It'll certainly be interesting to see how that pans out. Great shame, obviously, to see Zander Hermans go out. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen him DNF. But certainly worth a shout there. He's been doing some great racing recently, so shame to see him go out. But this is Spa-Francorchamps. We are on lap 8 of 44. So quickly approaching the quarter mark at this moment in time. We're on a lovely dry track. Good start to the race. Yep, go on.
Sorry. Vandenberg almost completely sideways up over Rouge as he was in the dirty air. He was actually in mode 5 with his ERS, so I'd say he was saving it. He was actually looked like he was trying to just keep up with Stappers, who was also in mode 5 at the time. But back on really almost overtook him. Managed to maintain control. That's a really good save.
Good save there from the Williams driver. But he's now 0.3 off the back of Stappers, and he's closed that gap right down now, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's pure ERS that did that, because as I said, he actually lost quite a lot of time during that slide, but he managed to gain it back come the end of the straight.
But Stappers isn't too far off the back of Ershine either at this moment in time.
And if you know, there's about 150 horsepower gain between mode 5 and mode 0 on the ERS.
Wow.
Usage.
That is
nearly
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, that was really big mistake there.
Tries to dive down on the inside there. Oh, dearie me. What has happened? And Boy Williamson as well, I think, was in there. Oh, no, Nicky Visser. It was Nicky Visser.
Yeah. Just going to watch the collision.
What happened there? I couldn't quite make it out. Hans van der Berg looked as he went in, but it was actually Nicky Visser that's coming in on the back of him. I don't know what happened there.
It looked like a huge lock-up from Van der Berg as they approached the bus stop chicane. I'm just going to watch the replay back now. Just please bear with me.
I can just see it in the background there. Hans van der Berg is into the pits. He's got a new nose and a new set of soft tyres. So fortunate it happened on that chicane. He was able to come in straight away and pit and get a new nose, but his nose was completely taken out. I think it was actually Visser was trying to make the move into the chicane on Hans van der Berg. Hans van der Berg went deep to brake and Visser just went straight into, or he went into the side of Visser. I'm not too sure which way round it was actually.
Visser was actually, yeah, I was riding with Van der Berg at the time, yeah, so he's got Stappers ahead in 5th, and Visser a little bit ahead of him in 4th. And it looks like, yeah, so Van der Berg tries to pass Stappers into the chicane. Visser is on the race line, as he has the right to be, but yeah, Van der Berg just cannot stop and smashes into the back of Visser, which is why he gets the penalty for severe collision. And then he immediately comes in, so completely wipes out Visser. I don't know how bad Stappers. I don't think Stappers got involved in it at all. Actually, he managed to.
I don't think Stappers was involved in it at all. I think he actually avoided it, albeit very narrowly, it has to be said. This has now put Visser in an awkward position. He's now got John Donkel right on his gearbox.
Yeah, he didn't want that, and that's really no fault of his own. And he's coming in.
He's into the pits. So Nicky Visser. Oh no. Yeah, he's in, and Boy Williamson is now on the back of this Renault. So Boy Williamson now riding on the back of John Donkel, and this is really, yeah, this is all sort of mixed it up a bit now, isn't it?
Yeah, and once again, Visser's come out worse. I do feel for him because we've said it before, he's quite an unlucky driver. Who's that? Almost lost it. Peter Phillips almost lost it. Eau Rouge as well.
Boy Williamson just makes the move on John Donkel down the Kemmel Straight and takes P6 from Donkel. That said, though, I don't think Donkel's going to let it lie easily. He's going very wide, is Williamson, but I noticed Visser was going quite wide as well. I think they've opted for low downforce, which really is going to hit them in this middle sector, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look like they're running quite a low downforce setup. I think that's quite low ballast as well, by the looks of it. It's, just lots and lots of understeer. Quite nice. It doesn't look like there is any damage to Williamson's Mercedes either. So.
Oh, look at he goes wide again. Yeah. Out of 13s are coming down into 14. Look at this wheel-to-wheel action here with John Donkel. But now we should see Williamson start to pull away a bit round this third and final sector.
Yeah, we should do. Donkel's playing it safe at the moment. Mode 0, he's not doing anything silly.
He's definitely opening up the gap to him. But I really do think those Mercedes are running very low downforce. Well, not necessarily very low, but low certainly.
Yeah, I think actually Donald was biding his time. He's waiting for Williams to make a mistake. He's obviously seen him make a few mistakes in the last few laps, so I think he's just going to hang tight until he sort of takes himself out. Oh yeah, flag sector 1. Is that an Airshine spun? He's in P5.
Oh my goodness. Airshine has spun on the exit as they were coming out effectively onto out of Eau Rouge into Radion. Spins the car, and that has now dropped him down to P10. Oh dear, not where he wanted to be.
Places. No.
5 places, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe kicking himself.
Guido Eschine was running in 5th place, made a mistake. Effectively, on the exit of Eau Rouge into Radion, went wide, spun the car, came back onto the track in P10. Well, I suppose, small mercies. At least he hasn't got any damage to the car. That front wing looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, it seems to escape completely untouched. It was just a spin on track, but that's a spin at 170, 180 mile an hour section of the track, so lots of time's been lost there.
Yeah, definitely he has lost quite a substantial amount of time. We're riding on board at the moment with Marcel France. He's closing in on the back of that Ferrari of Martin Paardenkoper is there on the start of this third sector, and Paardenkoper's going majorly defensive there, isn't
he? Yeah, big time. We've seen in a few races before as well, Paardenkoper does defend very well. And he's in the pit.
Oh, and Paardenkoper actually comes into the pits, releases Marcel France now. into that 7th place. So those super softs, 10 laps. I mean, we've got Mark Stappers, he's on 11 laps. We know he can go quite deep on those. Parder Cooper obviously decided to change those. Stappers is currently sitting in 3rd place. I mean, what a fantastic result for Stappers at this moment in time, it has to be said.
Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for Stappers. He's one of my favourite drivers of the league, and yeah, it's good to see him up there at this moment in time. I'm hoping that he's coming into the race. There's a long way to go. Only a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, indeed, just over a quarter of the way through. We're on lap 12 of 44. Stappers is in 3rd place. It'd be great to see him maintain that place. And let's not forget, he started in 10th, so he's gained 7 places. So not to be sniffed at in any way, shape or form.
No, absolutely not. I think this is one of his stronger tracks. We saw in the great lap in qualifying. I actually qualified P4 in Q2, and it didn't let him participate in Q3 for some reason. But
yeah, that was a bit odd.
Yeah, but
yeah,
here
so
he is.
He had to start in P10 effectively.
Oh, sorry, Donker's just retired right in front. I was riding with Stappers.
Oh, look at this! Indeed. On the exit there of turn 14 into 15, so Stavlot, John Donkel loses it majorly there. You can see his car as Hans Anderberg goes past. So John Donkel is out, and Spa claims John Donkel again, Adrian.
Yeah, it's happened again. I was actually riding with, but not with Stappers. I was riding with Hartman, who was 5th at the time. Yeah, I'm just looking at Donkel. Yeah, he goes wide and smashes into the left-hand barrier. Just at the start of sector 3, I forget the name of that corner. Yeah, well, what a horrible error.
Yeah, indeed. Sorry, and I had the driver up there. I do apologise for that. A little bit of error there on the screen, but a little bit of chaos ensuing on track. And yeah, great shame indeed. So,
yeah.
But well, this is very surprising indeed. We've got Seb Bogart obviously leading the way. He's 21 seconds down the road to Mark Stappers, who's now in 2nd place. So Mark has obviously stayed out. Let's not forget, because he's on those super soft tyres. He's going to have to come in at some point and lose that position. The question is where is he going to fall within the track? And I've got a sneak suspect it's probably going to put him around about P9.
Yeah, it should be somewhere around there. Yeah.
But he should gain a couple of places back because, well, at least one place back from Jamie Collane, because he's also on 12-lap-old super softs.
Yeah, Collane's actually going for the fastest lap of the race so far. Purple 1st sector, and it looks like it's going to be a purple 2nd as well. He's running on Warren super softs. He's obviously just pushing them to their limit before he does come in, so I expect he's actually probably going to come in this lap, actually.
Yep, and Mark Stappers is actually into the pits. Marcel France, though, is up to 5th place.
Yeah, lots of things have happened ahead of him at the time that sort of resulted in. It's now P4, by the way, so excuse me. Yeah,
sorry,
he passes
P4,
Stappers in the pit.
Indeed.
And Damie is in the pit.
So Stappers is in the pit. Damie Hartman into the pits as well. Oh, sorry, Jamie Collane into the pits. So we'll see where that brings us out. But that's mean that Marcel France has gone up into P4, up 13 places. Peter Phillips, trying to make the move. Oh, dearie me, on Marcel France, nearly goes into the back of him. How the hell he avoided that? And makes the move on the DRS and gets past him and moves up into 4th place. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, great move from Peter Phillips. Yeah, it's brilliant. High-speed manoeuvre. It was edge of the seat stuff. I think Phillips
I just wish I'd been on board with them at the time.
Phillips has got a lot of skill in regards to actually overtaking drivers. Yeah, it's just kind of his race pace or lap times that suffer slightly, but yeah, there's no denying his ability on overtakes, his confidence on overtakes.
he doesn't. Yeah, he definitely has the confidence there. That's for sure, and that puts him in a lot of good stead. I think, certainly in race circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. But bearing in mind as well, he's actually running the medium tyre, as is Vazdarin, who came in a lap ago. And if you spotted that, he's obviously looking to go to the end of this race.
Yeah, he's on the mediums. He started at the back of the grid, so hardly surprising on that he'd opt for those ones. I mean, it can be a dangerous tyre choice. We've seen it at Hungaroring. We saw it in Hungaroring, the Hockenheimring, and in Silverstone as well, where some of the drivers had chosen the mediums, hoping to go that bit deeper, and it just didn't work for them, did it?
No, that's fine. Sorry, I did say, but yeah, Baz is on the mediums as well. He's P2, so he will be hoping that he can not lose too much ground on Bogard, and hopefully get him at the later stages of this race. But it's a big gap at the moment, nearly 25 seconds. We'll see. Harman fastest in the first sector.
It's definitely a pit stop window, isn't it?
Yeah. Harman will want to pass the Breen very quickly. He won't want to sit behind him on hard tyres. That's why we're doing on hard tyres that ruin Damie's strategy.
Well, yeah, it certainly would. I mean, Damie is very, very close in behind Baz the Breen at the moment, and we should certainly see him make the move on track, I would have thought, as you said, because of those tyres. Those mediums wouldn't have come up. Well, they might be up to temperature maybe now, but they certainly won't be at their peak performance.
No, they won't. So we've just lost Marco Puller, by the way. He was running P14 of 14, and I think he lost at Eau Rouge.
Let's quickly go on board with Seb Bogart. We should see if there's any
yellow flags.
Debris. Yeah, yellow flag is Eau Rouge.
But both.
Yeah, and I think he's parked up on the left-hand side there.
Both Force India's in that same spot.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, Guido Airshine, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, Guido Airshine got away with it. Unfortunately, Marco Pullen hasn't.
Jamie Collane, by the way, now 13th of now 13. Battling is essentially a little battle. There's 5 cars at the back here, from Dronig down to Collane, all fighting for position. A good exit actually out of the bus stop for Collane from the outside though. It's going to be difficult to pass the Ferrari. Parky was defending really well as we had expected. Good little undercut from.
He's side by side.
I think he's going to do it. All right for ERS.
Side by side,
yeah.
Party gets
got
through.
No ERS.
Look at this. Now that is, I've got to say, that's a brave move by Collane in that McLaren there.
Yeah. I think that's actually the first legit overtake I've seen from Jamie so far. Parky was fighting back though.
Gets ahead.
Wing.
As they were going through Lecun. No, I don't think so. I don't think there was any contact. But he gets ahead of him, and now Collane's got to do it all over again, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so demoralising. You go to all the effort, and they take place sort of right back, and arguably quite easily. Just have a look at the replay there of Jamie's move.
Jamie going very, very wide round Pouhon there. I think he's struggling a bit to try and catch up with him, to be fair.
I can confirm that no piece of McLaren broke off in
So, Collane currently leading the rear of the field in P13. Martin Parder-Cooper in the Ferrari is P12. P11, Guido Airshine hasn't gone his way, has it? I mean, that spin has cost him dearly, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's kind of a twofold thing, because it's not only cost him on track. Sorry, this is about making him move into turn 1 on Dronig, which he does do. Dronig will fight back in ERS.
He's right on his coattails at this moment in time.
But yeah, going back to Ershine, he's actually right behind these two. yeah, it's been costing him time on track, but also I was going to say it's cost him confidence, and be dwelling on it. But here he is actually fighting with these two guys ahead of him.
Look at this, and Airshine gets ahead.
Yeah.
Airshine gets ahead of Dronig as they were coming into Lecombe, makes the move on him. And now Dronig finds himself with Airshine suddenly in front of him, where before it was Nicky Visser.
Dronig didn't exactly defend for his former teammate.
To be fair, I don't think he was even aware that he was going to do that move. I think he just caught him totally wrong-footed.
Yeah, possibly.
I think Dronig was concentrating more on Visser ahead of him, not realising that Airshine was that close behind him and was going to make the move. Now, Martin Pardicooper is now closing in on the back of Dronig as well.
Oh, Kalane did come into the pit, by the way, on the end of the last lap. He's now on a medium tyre. He was only on sort of 3 or 4 lap old tyres before that, so I wonder if that actually was damage that we didn't see. So my confirmation that a piece didn't come off, I think, might have been incorrect.
Might have been incorrect. I'm just going on board with Guido Airshine here because he is really closing down now to Nicky Visser.
Yeah, I mean, they're both on past Dronig.
He's really pushing, isn't he? Look at this, that Force India. He's really giving it all the beans he can.
Yeah, neither driver really saving any EOS whatsoever. I think the first one that does actually manage to save some will have the advantage, but it looks so slidey, so slippery around the Rouge in the Force India there.
Airshine will look to try and make the move as they come into Lecombe here. He loves diving in on that right-hander there. I think he's going to close it down, If Visser really has to open it up, doesn't he? I mean, Visser's got to try and get as much air between him and Airshine as he possibly can now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he'll know that Airshine is on the stopped tyre, but he'll also know that his lap times are probably a tad faster than Airshine's at this point.
Pardicooper as well. Closing in on the back of Dronig, so there's a real fight going on for P8 and P10 here in this sort of midfield, isn't there?
Yeah, well, Bogart's in the pit, by the way. That's a really slow
comes into pits.
Previous lap as well. Hartman actually gained two whole seconds on him before he comes into the pit. Stretching those tyres out as far as they'll go.
I've got Bogart ahead of Hartman though still, but it's not much in it. It's got to be said. Hartman's going to look to make the move into Lecombe. Does he make it stick?
And he does.
Yeah, he does. Gets ahead of Bogart.
Wow.
Into Lecombe. So Davey Hartman has now taken the place on track, and this is important for Davey Hartman, isn't it? This really is so very, very important for him because he needs now to really open it up and get that gap to Seb Bogart as big as he possibly can, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And Damie, fair play to him. He set the fastest lap of the race so far, and the second fastest lap of the race so far on his previous 2 laps. As Bogart's tyres were wearing out and obviously coming into the pit. So he managed to work effectively it's the undercut, isn't it? He's on 7-lap-old soft tyres. He's managed to work the undercut to perfection actually, and get ahead of him. It's still theoretically advantage Bogart because Bogart probably won't have to pit again. Damie will, but Damie is past him, and if he didn't get past him, then he never will.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think it's not going to give him P1, but it's I think assuring him a pole finish. That's for sure.
It's given him a fighting chance at least of winning this race. It's still a possibility. It would not have been a possibility if Bogart had come out ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now we were talking about Peter Phillips earlier on, but look at this P4. And I've got to say, that's a pretty solid looking P4 at this moment in time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't go on board with that car. It sounds horrible.
Oh no, it doesn't. I've got it as well. Yeah, screaming engine.
it isn't working for me. But obviously he's got Mark Stappers and Hans van der Berg both very, very close in behind him, and both on the super softs.
Yeah. So immense pressure being applied to that squad also. Stappers actually going past.
Indeed. Yeah, Mark Stappers. Oh no, he's fighting it back. He's not giving it to him easily, but Mark Stappers does get ahead of Peter Phillips. So good run there. Oh, sorry, I can't go on board with that.
Really horrible.
Oh God, it sounds god awful. I hope that the real engine didn't sound like that. I really do. But now Hans van der Berg is closing in on the back of Peter Phillips. Surely it's not going to be long before we see Van der Berg making the move on that Toro. Oh, nearly loses it on the 11th there. But that was, I think, was a classic example of loss of downforce from the air coming off that car ahead of him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it gets the turbulent air or the dirty air from the car ahead that just affects it. Yeah, so you need the rear. You need the rear wing to be working properly. And for it to be working, you need sort of fresh air hitting it, especially around that bend. The 4Gs pulled around the corner. I think Van der Berg going to make the move.
Looking to try and make the move here into the chicane, and it wasn't it was basically I'm coming through, get out of the way. Let's be fair.
It wasn't quite as aggressive as we saw a few laps earlier from
No, not quite. I think he's learned that lesson. That's for sure. So Hans van der Berg moves up into 5th place. Mark Stappers is in 4th. Bas de Breen is in 3rd. Seb Bogart is now 2nd, and Damie Hartman leads this race. We are more or less halfway through this race, and Damie Hartman's leading. He's going to be happy about that.
He will be happy to be in P1. He'll be less happy that he's only a second ahead of Bogart. Bogart has been matching his times, and this will be affecting Hartman's morale. He'll want to be pulling away, constantly while he's on the softer tyre, and the fact that he's not doing that, I think that will be hurting him.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand what you're saying there.
I don't mean to sound so sort of pessimistic, but he's on the softer tyre. He should be about sort of 5 or 6 tenths a lap quicker, but it's not quite working out that way, which will frustrate him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 1.2 seconds. It is going to be frustrating, but then again, it could be that Bogart's just looking to stay with him, and because we know Bogart is supreme on that ERS management, isn't he? I mean, he really does. He's got that down to a fine art, I think.
Yeah, and we've seen quite a few battles between Bogart and Hartman. And Bogart tends to have the advantage at the end, the final sort of 5 laps of a race, because he's managed not just his ERS but his tyres that much better as well. Van der Berg's in the pit, by the way. That spiking around was a bit too much, and he's going to get rid of these 12-lap-old super softs.
Well, that's probably not a bad move on his part. But as you say, Damie Hartman just not able to pull away from Seb Bogart at this moment in time. Bas de Breen's not too far behind, only just over 4.5 seconds. Mark Stappers is obviously a little bit further on 18 seconds. He's in P4. Peter Phillips is in P5, but he's being challenged now by Boyd Williamson. Yep, and Boyd gets past him on that DRS. Gets ahead of Peter Phillips, but I'm sure Peter's going to try and come back. He can into Leclerc, but he's just too far back. So Boyd now moves up into 5th place.
Yeah, Boyd's not had an easy race by any stretch of imagination. He started P5. He's had so many things happen but, sort of to him. A really terrible start. Went down to I think it was about P11, 12 at one point. But he's managed to fight back up to where he started. And he's on 10-lap-old soft, so yeah, he's probably going to have to get in again. It'll do probably the last 10 laps on super softs, or he'll risk it and try to stretch these to the end. I don't think it can be done, but it might be worth considering.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, these medium runners, they've got 21 laps to go. I think they're looking pretty solid. The only one I'm a little bit sort of dubious about is obviously the likes of Baz. I mean, maybe Baz and Nicky Visser. Certainly Peter Phillips is going to have to come in before the end of this race. But the question here is can Bogart go to the end? You know, 25 laps on a set of mediums, you've got to say it's a doable thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think Bogart. I think um, he kind of sacrificed his soft tyres in his first stint. He sort of overstretched them a little bit. That's why have Amy managed to get ahead of him. Because Bogart's last couple of laps on them were just awful. You know, they're probably sort of 85% warm. But he's done that to gain some sort of a bit of a cushion on these medium tyres, so he doesn't have to do quite so many. So I think he can comfortably make it to the end. But he's already, as I said, he's already made the sacrifice to make the game later on. But the likes of Damien, it won't be comfortable, and it won't be comfortable as well for De Bruyne in the last 3 or 4 laps of the race as well, because he won't want to put in again, but he'll feel like the car will be screaming at him to death.
Yeah, but ultimately, at the end of the day, obviously, De Bruyne is in 3rd place as it stands at this moment in time. So he's on 10-lap-old mediums. Do you really think he can stretch those to the end?
Yeah, well...
20 laps. I mean, there'll be 30 laps on those tyres.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3/4 of the race on the hardest tyre, which, you know, you could say any other race is just about doable. You might do 2/3 of the race on the hardest tyre, 3/4. I know, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but you know, in terms of Baz's strategy choice, he in his mind is going for a 1-stop. If he was going for a 2-stop, he wouldn't be on the medium tyre.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you know, 11 laps, 12 laps, and sort of, yeah, it's doable, but it's a reasonably risky call, I suppose. I'd say you're sitting on the line with that one.
Yeah, it's going to be super uncomfortable. But I mean, Baz is typically quite good with his time management. I think Bogart is slightly better on time management, but yeah, Baz is up there.
He is indeed. I've just switched to Nicky Visser because he's running on now 14 lap old, so he'll be going to 34 laps if he's going to the end of this race. That's definitely going on to touchy territory, but I don't think he's left with much choice, is he?
No, not really. No, he's kind of committed now. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I'm looking at this sort of right ahead. I mean, he might be able to get up into 4th place, and I say might with a big question mark. You know, 5th is certainly possible, but in that instance, he's likely to find himself fighting with his teammate and very possibly Mark Stappers as well if we stay where we are.
Yeah, Stappers is the only one out there at the moment on the super soft tyre. As we've seen, they only last about 12 laps, so he's got 2 more to do on them, and presumably he'll run on to the...
And he's in now. So Stappers comes into the pits now. I think that's a good call from Stappers. And I would suspect he's probably going to go on to the softs.
Do you think so? I'd say it's a push for the softs.
I think he's going to go on to the softs. I'm going to call it. Peter Phillips is in as well. So 24 laps he would have done on those mediums, Peter Phillips. So that's an interesting one, because that would suggest to me that Nicky Visser could well go to the end on those mediums.
Yeah, again, it's going to be uncomfortable, probably even more uncomfortable for him than it will be for Baz, because Baz is only 12 lap old, and I thought that might be a push. So, for Visser to make it to the end, yeah, doable, but horrible.
Well, Mark Stappers is on at the moment. Hans van der Berg is looking to make the move on track as they're coming into Lecou. Makes it stick. gets past Strappers. Remember, Strappers has only just come out of the pits on a fresh set of softs, but that was an important move from Van der Berg because he's on a fresh set of softs as well, albeit he's done the undercut, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And Van der Berg is actually flying right now. He's the fastest man, not just fastest man on track, but he's actually set the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, 47.991. So yeah, he's really sort of, got his head down and going for it.
Now, obviously, he's on 3-lap-old softs. We've got 18 laps remaining, 21 laps on those softs. That's certainly doable. That's going to take him to the end.
Yes. Yeah, doable. As I said, there are more comfortable strategies out there, but yeah, it's quite an aggressive one.
Van der Berg, sorry, but he's looking to make a move on Airshine before they get into the chicane. That was. This is going to be interesting to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, I don't see many passes there before the bus chicane.
No, definitely not. And he's right on the coattails of this false injure. He's going to look to try and make the move into one if he can. And he just, he gets ahead. Knows he's in ahead. So Hans Van der Berg, good move from him. Moves up now into 6th place. But Guido Airshine, I don't think he's going to let that go easily. He's got the DRS.
Yeah, he's got ERS as well. Van der Berg's got nothing.
And ERS, so he's getting past him. And Van der Berg just slots in behind him as they come into Lecombe there. So Airshine, yeah, you may have got me once, but you're not going to get me twice.
Yeah. I mean, Van der Berg, that overtake, very. I'd say Van der Berg is probably one of the most aggressive overtakers. It's a fair move, absolutely fair move.
It was,
Yeah, it's just that, he's one of these. I'm coming through. There's a window of opportunity to make the pass, and I'm taking it. So
I think Van der Berg pretty much sums up that wonderful term: "Give him an inch, and he'll take a mile."
Yeah, all very side-faced.
Went a bit
just then. He's just pushing so
wobbly
much.
bit wobbly on the exit of 13, coming down into turn 14. Managed to get it back, fortunately. Has dropped a little bit now, further behind Airshine. But look at the straight line speed of this Williams. I mean, he's got his ERS dialed up, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I said
cutting that, really not giving Airshine an opportunity, really pushing through, but Airshine comes back.
Look how aggressive he is.
Excellent job from Airshine. A real battle going on here, but look at this, Mark Stappers. He's now in the background thinking, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, he's waiting for something to happen. I think it will. I think it will end in tears for one, if not both of the two drivers ahead of him. But I know he's going to make the move here, so I don't want to talk too much. But
clash of tyres there. Clash of tyres definitely there, but Van der Berg gets through.
You can see it, can't you? Just the way he drives, like really throws the car around his hands. But I was going to say, I've said it before in previous races. He's kind of the young, or last season's Rob Moldering in terms of his aggression with the car. He's always racing at 100% for 100% of the time, and this period or this point in the race is normally the key point for him. I.e., can he sort of calm it down, or will he just keep racing as though it's a 5-lapper and just burn out his tyres and put it in the wall? We've seen that a few times. It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, look at this. And Stapper's now making the move on Airshine. Fantastic. Look at that.
Wow.
What a move.
I know, so we don't see.
Blanchimont. He actually made a move on Blanchimont as they were coming into turn 17. That is not somewhere you expect to see that overtake happening, and Airshine is into the pits.
Yeah, it's probably why he didn't defend too hard. But yeah, I mean, like I said previous lap, we don't see many overtakes there, and Mark just just comes straight in like, yeah, thank you.
Yep, I'll have that. But you could see him hovering in the background, a bit like a praying mantis, just, waiting for the opportunity to get his prey. And, definitely unexpected overtake, but nonetheless, very good overtake.
Yeah, really good stuff. As I said, Josh is one of my favourite drivers to watch. And
You've got to remember,
that's a big reason why.
And I've got to say, I mean, I mentioned it obviously a lot in season 4. I haven't mentioned it so much in this season. Stappers does run with no assists and in cockpit view as well. I think he's certainly the leading driver in the league to do that, and I think a couple of other drivers, maybe 3 or 4, have followed suit for this season 5. But fantastic, really is. I mean, it just makes it that much more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Adds to the difficulty and the authenticity of realism, of course, which is a big part of the reason that people play F1 games, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is for the authenticity of to get a taste of that real life adrenaline rush that you get.
So the yellow flags waved in Sector 2, didn't quite see who that was for. I wonder if it was something to do with the battle for P8 at the moment.
Well, let's have a quick look there, because Parker Cooper is obviously closing in on the back of Marcel France. It was 3/10, losing time here on this Sector 3. And this really does show the difference with regards to downforce on a lot of the way these cars ride. That the higher downforce cars really struggle in that third sector to get the speed down. But Parker Cooper's into the pits anyway. So Phillips is up to 9. Airshine will be moving up to P10. And this is the final set of pit stops that we're seeing here, I think, now, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, this is the final kind of stint. And on that subject, actually, we're seeing drivers coming after sort of 16, 17, 18 laps on soft tyres, which means Damien Hartman's and Paul Williamson's tyres should be sort of nearing the end of their life. I'm just seeing Hartman's lap times. His lap times are still okay.
His lap times are looking pretty solid. I mean, that gap to Seb Bogart, the thing that I'm finding amazing, I've got to be sincere on this one, is how is Seb Bogart staying so close to Damien Hartman?
Yeah. On a tyre that's arguably 6 tenths slower.
Yeah.
And actually Bogart's first sector of previous lap is purple. It's the fastest sector of the race. Fastest first sector of the race.
I mean, that to me is phenomenal. How is he managing to maintain that pace? Okay, he hasn't made the move, but he has stayed consistently, within maximum, 1.3 seconds of Damien Hartman ahead of him. And surely Damien Hartman must be sitting in that cockpit thinking exactly the same thing.
Yeah, just scratching his head. And, he'll be thinking about it the whole race. Why can't I lose him?
Yeah, I mean, he should do. He's on the soft tyre. He should be able to be pulling away, maybe a couple of tenths. Well, as you say, it should be 6 tenths a lap, really, and it just hasn't happened.
No, that's right. That's right, and to Bogart as well, because he knows that he hasn't got past Hartman at all. All he's trying to do is just stay with him, and while doing that, he's able to to back off slightly to save his tyres as well, which he is doing.
Absolutely. I mean, he can certainly go to the end on those. Now, Damien Hartman, obviously, as we know, 18 laps, he's going to have to come in. He's surely going to have to go onto the super softs. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, we'll have to. He's not going to do any more.
Now, the question is when does he come in? Because, I mean, we've seen people coming in sort of low, sort of mid-20s, haven't we? I mean, obviously, lighter fuel load. How much further does he want to go? Because clearly his thought process here was to get air between him and Bogart, and it just hasn't worked. So, what's plan B?
Yeah, that was the idea, wasn't it? Yeah, what is Plan B? I think he'll be battling De Bruyne for the for P2. I know De Bruyne's only sort of 10.5 seconds behind Hartman, but De Bruyne won't be wanting to pit again, and his tyres will be completely shot come the end. So if Hartman's on super softs, I think I think we'll see a battle between those two in the last 3 or 4 laps.
I would expect him to get onto the Zusos because I mean he will be coming out in P3.
Yes.
I think that's pretty safe, basically. The question then is going to be how big a gap is he going to have to De Bruyne, and I would suspect it's probably going to be around about 5 or 6 seconds. So the Supersoft should be able to eat into that. De Bruyne's obviously on the mediums. We know that the softs, from what it seems like with Bogart, hold their ground pretty well. The mediums with the soft, so yeah, it's got to be a super soft, and he's got to be looking to try and get that second place from Baz De Bruyne. It's the way it looks anyway.
Yeah, I think that would be an exciting battle to watch actually between Hartman and De Bruyne. We're on 2 completely different tyres in completely different conditions.
Hartman's in.
Yep.
So Hartman comes in on lap 31. In lap 32, he'll be doing 12 laps. It's got to be super softs.
Yep.
Comes into the pit. Yep, super softs are ready by the pit crew. These are. Now the question is where's he going to come out? Boy Williamson just coming around turn 17 now.
We should see Boy coming in as well this lap. No,
Boy stays out.
I'm not sure what he's gaining from staying out because
he's on his way. So yep, Damien Hartman, as I said, he's actually 6.5 seconds behind Baz De Bruyne. So this is very doable, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm surprised by Boy's decision to stay out. Actually, yeah, because we are certainly in the start of the super soft window. Unless he is, he thinks he can gain a little bit more by using these tyres for 1 or 2 more laps, but I can't see them sort of gaining in much time.
Yeah, but the problem that he's got, I mean, is he, when he comes into pit, he is going to be coming out. Where we are, we know he's going to be coming out P7. He's going to be between Phillips and Stappers.
Yeah. Yep.
And closer to Stappers, obviously, but he's going to be in between those 2 guys, and he's going to. Well, he's already had to fight his way through Stappers and Van der Berg anyway, and he's going to have to do it all over again.
He is, yeah. And also, Stappers and Phillips and Eshine and all those, Van der Berg, they don't have to pit again, so he's going to have to overtake those on track, which he won't be looking forward to. Or maybe
which
he will.
Definitely won't be looking forward to. He's wants. I mean, I think he's in the optimum window. I think he's going to have to come in. The other thing is he going to try and stay out for the remaining 11 laps? Not impossible.
Well, on these tyres, the longest we've seen these tyres go so far was Bogart's stint. It did 23. No.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh, he's in now.
No, he's in. Yeah, Boy Williamson is in. So he will definitely be going on to the super softs. And Damien Hartman is now 4.7 seconds behind Baz De Bruyne. That means he's taken out about 1.5 seconds. Yeah, he has actually. 1.5 seconds, nearly 2 seconds. Well, it's now 2 seconds nearly.
Yeah, I can't tell on that last lap because that was the lap he came in. But yes, yeah, I think you are right.
Yeah. So on that premise, he should be closing in on the back of Baz De Bruyne around about lap 36. So this is going to be a bit of a nail biter for the end of this one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Williams has come out ahead of Stappers, by the way.
So Williamson has actually come out ahead of Stappers, but not by much. It's only 3/10. I don't think Stappers is going to let it go. He's got a window of opportunity while those super softs get heated up. He could make the move. Oh, locks up there. Coming round Brussels. But now this is Stappers' opportunity. This is critical for Stappers, isn't it? he really needs to get past this Mercedes now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think he will purely, well, not purely, but largely because Boyd's on the super soft tyre. It was important for him to get ahead of Strappers. Strappers can't defend when he's behind him.
Yeah, no, he definitely got that right. But it was a Nats whisker. I mean, I think it was about 3, 4, probably not even 3 tenths, 2 tenths as they actually came out. So it was very, very close indeed.
Eddie the Green has pitted. He's just come in. He's always coming out now. He's come out on the soft tyre, not even on the super soft, on the soft.
I think that's again down to allocation, probably.
Yeah, quite possibly.
We've seen this happen with Baz before, haven't we? Where he's unexpectedly come out.
That's
and it
right.
was down to the tyre allocation.
Does that mean we're also going to see Nicky come in? I'm surprised the Green did come in.
We've got to see. Well,
he was on mediums, and he was on younger mediums than Visser.
He was on younger mediums than Visser. You're absolutely right, and I've got to say, what's he going to do? I mean, see, Baz the Green, he knows. I think that was a late call by Baz the Green because he knew that Damie Hartman's closing in on him on those super softs. He's going to take that place from him. I think he was more concerned with what we got here with Visser and maybe responding to him. And maybe he's trying to push Visser to actually go into the pits.
Yeah, possibly. Or in this case, not go into the pit.
Or this case, not go into the pits. I mean, Nicky is possible, is doable. We've only got 10 laps remaining. 34 laps is doable, as we know, on these mediums. Remember, lighter fuel load as well. So, or was he just covering his bets? Maybe he didn't want to have that fight with Visser towards the end, potentially, and thought, okay, I've got the window, let's cover it.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I mean, however you look at it, it's a sensible call from De Bruyne. As I said, doesn't want to. I mean, he knows that Hartman's going to pass him on track anyway. But there's no point trying to fight that and waste more sort of time on track. So, I suppose by pitting in, he's giving himself a good opportunity to.
And Visser's in. Visser's come in. Visser's come in. Van der Berg takes that 4th place. Visser has now come in. So he's decided, caution is the better part of valour, and he's gone on to a set of super softs. So that is a good shout from Visser, I think, because he's had to come in, but he's going to be coming out on those super softs. It's going to give him a great opportunity. 9 laps remaining to move back up again.
Yeah, both Mercedes will be looking to overtake Hans van der Berg by the end of the race.
Yeah,
that's their target. P4 for both of them.
It's got to be, really, hasn't it? But I'll tell you what, I mean, they've got their work cut out for him. I mean, he's got Peter Phillips 12 seconds. Well, Peter Phillips, is 1 second ahead of him, but then Peter Phillips is 12 seconds to Mark Stappers. That's 13 seconds just to get to Mark Stappers. 9 laps remaining. I think that's a push.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a push.
I mean, Boy Williamson is in obviously a better position at this moment in time, and he's definitely closing that gap to Hans van der Berg. I don't know if you've got any telemetry data you might be able to glean there at all.
Well, my telemetry for Boy Williamson is I don't know what it means, but everything's gone purple.
Wow.
So yeah, he's really, really pushing on those.
He's charging. He is definitely charging on those super softs. He's now 1.4 seconds off the back of Hans van der Berg, and I don't want to say it, but I think there may be a little bit of a grudge match here to get past that Williams. Do you think?
Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. Visser's passed Phillips. Visser's gone wide. Sorry, at where is that? That's just before the bus stop. But you managed to make the move. I don't think it was an illegal overtake. I just briefly saw him off track Visser after he passed. But that's 1 down.
That is 1 down. But then again, he was only 1 second off. He's now got 10 and a half seconds to Stappers.
Well, partly he was losing time. Is there damage to that Ferrari? He's just lost 2 plates. Oh, I'm not sure.
Well,
I think there is
Polane's in,
damage.
France is in, and Cooper's in. So all those 3 are into the pits, and that's a bit odd. There must have been some damage there, surely.
Yeah, I think there was. I think there was
new nose for France.
No,
Jamie Polane is just tyres. Cooper was just tyres as well. So it was only Marcel France had to have a new nose. So maybe there was some sort of incident that we didn't catch on there, and they decided to come in. Maybe they flat spotted some of those tyres, but they've all come in and gone onto a fresh set of super softs. Everyone's going onto the super softs. Everybody wants to charge through. Guys, there's no point to be gained for the fastest lap. Not this season.
Oh, they don't care. Oh, Cooper's lost it. No, Rouge. No tyres.
Cooper has gone out. Yeah, on the exit. Lost it on Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get somebody that's a little bit closer. Maybe you can see it. The car, yellow flags there. Yeah, and there he is on the right-hand side of the exit of Eau Rouge into Radion. So, unfortunately, Martin Cooper, another victim of that infamous Eau Rouge Radion set of corners. Although, to be fair, we haven't had as many as I thought we might have this evening.
Yeah, well, we've had a few. 4?
We've had 4? I've done it before where I've had more than that, double that figure.
Eddie, sorry, boys got past Williamson at the end of the Garage Straight after Radion.
So Williamson has got past Van der Berg. Yeah, Williamson has got past Van der Berg.
Williamson purple in the first sector as well. This car is looking much healthier than it did at in the opening phase of this race. That Mercedes.
So, Boy Williamson is definitely charging through here. He's, I think he's looking solid for that 4th place at this moment in time, isn't he?
Yeah, big time.
Hans van der Berg is, how do you think he's looking there, Van der Berg, for that 15 laps, 6 laps remaining on those softs? What do you think?
The thing with Van der Berg is that he's still, even now, still going for it. I don't see any change in his driving style to how he was driving in the first sort of 5 laps of this race, and for that reason, I don't think his 5th place is as safe as it might be if it was perhaps someone else.
That's so
I'm trying to say that as diplomatically as I can.
That was so diplomatically put, Adrian. I've got to say. Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's almost
it's
like
one of those, isn't it? It's one of those.
If Van der Berg's mind, he thinks he can win this race right now. That's what it seems like. The way he drives.
That is what is going through his head at this moment in time, isn't it?
Yeah. Which, you got to commend that. Oh, it was actually yellows in sector 2 and 3. Who was that?
I don't know, but whoever it is, they're still on track. Damien Hartman overtaking Marcel France there. Back marker.
But yeah, just going back to Andy, I do like Hans, but it makes me nervous when I watch him drive.
If he makes you nervous, how do you think the drivers around him feel?
See, look, things like that. Blimey. Just as he comes to the end of sector 2, yeah, it's just the back end stepped out of it. Yeah, it's just,
we've seen
like
that from him a few times during the course of this race, and we have seen it from him before. He is on the edge of the grip more often than not. On the absolute knife's edge of the grip.
Literally, for the entire race, it must be exhausting.
Well, I think he's a bit of a skinny guy, and I can understand why.
Sweats it all off.
He just sweats it all off. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hi, my name's Hans van der Berg. Welcome to my personal sauna.
It is
Hans,
fun
by
to
the
watch
way,
it
it's just a joke, mate. Don't worry. I'm just kidding, honestly.
It is fun to watch because, as I said, it just gives it so much energy, and for such a sustained period. And yeah, it's just remarkable that he managed to finish any race in one piece. Not because of a lack of skill, because he is one of the fastest on the grid. Like must be in the top 3 in terms of pace
Raw
per
speed.
lap.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just needs to learn to sort of know when to back off.
Well, as I say, he's had an interesting rookie season so far. Let's put it like that. But I do agree with you. I think this is a driver to watch for the future. If he just reins it in a bit, gets that racecraft going, I think he is going to be a force to contend with in coming seasons.
Yeah. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of, I don't want this to sort of go to his head too much, but Lewis Hamilton's first season. A bit like that. Because Lewis always used to just drive so hard all the time. And, we saw various mistakes as a result of that, but then we also saw a few, some wins as a result of that. I mean, he finished second in the championship by just 1 point.
I've got to say, and this is... I've got to say, and this is to our Dutch viewers. I'm going to blow some wind up his posterior here. I think it's not too dissimilar from another one of his nationals who currently drives. Either, is it?
No, it's really not. Probably not so much sort of this season, but in his early seasons. Or his first season with not Red Bull.
But Verstappen ultimately at the end of the day, very similar form of driving, was likened in a lot of respects in his early seasons to Hamilton as well at that time, and I think that's what we're seeing here. And with time, with the seasons passing, and that race experience, definitely going to be a force to contend with. I mean, Max Verstappen's is. Let's quickly run through the field. Actually, let's go in reverse order. Just why are we going in reverse order? Just for the hell of it, really.
Just cause.
Just cause, exactly. So Marcel Dronig bringing up the rear at the moment in P12. Remember, we did start with 17, so we have lost 5. That's Martin Pardico for Ferrari, Marco Pullen for Force India, John Donkel for Renault, Zander Hermans for Toro Rosso, and Miguel Torni for Red Bull. So Marcel Dronig currently P12, and not looking too bad there. And then we have Marcel France in the Red Bull. He's P11. Jamie Collane for McLaren is P10. Then we have the Force India of Guido. Sorry, no, we don't have the Force India. Sorry, I've got the wrong one. We've got the Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. And then we can say that we have the Force India. No, we don't. I've missed him, haven't I? Oh, that's why. I missed him. Sorry. Guido, I do apologise. I missed you there. I went the wrong call. P9, Guido Airshine in the Force India there. Could have corrected me there, Adrian. You just let me carry on. P8 is Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. P7 is Nicky Visser in that Mercedes. And you think he's going to get that P6? 3 laps remaining. He should be able to get that P6 from Stappers, shouldn't he?
Yeah, that's 100% his target. Stappers won't give it to him easy. But and I know Stappers is a really good defender as well. We've seen some great defensive drivers from Stappers in the past, and his tyres are in good nick as well.
Yeah,
he should be able
right.
to hold on to it.
Stappers is going to give away those points that are on offer. He's not going to give away those 8 points, really. he's not going to take 2 less for that position change. He's going to try and hold off Nicky Visser for as long as he can.
DRS, I think, is where it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hans van der Berg in the Williams there, sitting quite comfortably, I think, in P5. Should be looking good for that. So,
sorry, Stappers with the. I think.
Yeah, Visser's just made the move.
I think Stappers just made a mistake at the exit of the final corner. Just lit up the rear tyres. Visser, I don't think Visser expected it to happen, and he ended up taking around the outside. Yeah, Visser has actually made the pass early.
Well, Stappers is going to come back to him, I'm sure he is, because he's got the DRS here.
Nothing in the tank though, in terms of the ERS.
No, Visser stays ahead. So I think Visser's pretty much sealed that P6 position at this moment in time. As I said, Hans van der Berg. Well, he's in P5. And we have Boy Williamson in P4. I think Boy will be relatively happy with that, don't you, Adrian?
I think Boy would be really, really pleased to recovered back to P4. As I said, he started 5th. He's just had an awful first couple of laps. His entire first stint was it's just horrible to watch. As I said, there was so much understeer on the car, and he was just hemorrhaging places. Dropped to P12, fought his way back up to 5th, dropped back again to P8 or 9, and has fought back once more, this time to 4th place. So really good double recovery.
Yeah, and and again, valuable points for him as well. On offer 12 points, not to be sniffed at. So I think he's going to be happy. He's going to be happy with that, definitely.
Yeah.
And then we move obviously into the top 3. Baz de Breen is P3. I think looking good for that, and he made the right call, didn't he? Coming off those mediums, it was a safety call, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, other drivers may have risked it to try and hang on to P2, but Baz isn't like that. He knows, he knows the right thing to do, and normally the right time to do it, and he knows that 15 points is much more valuable than no points.
Yeah, definitely. Good shout from him. And then we move on to Damie Hartman in P2, and I've got to say, it's been a good race from Damie. He's, it hasn't all gone his way, but he's responded well, and he's come back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, started 4th place. Had arguably quite a good start in the before the first turn, but then lost places to both of the Mercedes drivers, and actually made contact with Williamson's car, Peau Rouge. And again, it's another recovery drive from him, because he did find himself sort of down the order slightly. I think he only dropped about P6 or 7, but he's had to fight back to that P2, and it was a good strategy call as well.
He's done well, and Damie, obviously we see him in this season 5, at the top of this drivers' championship table. He's been doing really well, but I look at him and I think, God, this is another guy that's coming up through the ranks. This is going to be another future champion.
Yes.
If not this season, it's going to be soon.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Damie Hartman will be a F1 Tonight champion at some point. Yeah, and I know I've talked about him already, and how nervous I am of his driving. But I think Hans van der Berg is another one who is a potential champion at some point.
Yeah, definitely be up there. Right, and let's go now with Seb Bogart. He's on the final lap, coming into now the final sector of this race, and I always like to judge a driver's skill and racecraft by the fact that I haven't spoken about him too much.
We've barely mentioned him at all in this entire race.
We have barely mentioned him at all. Absolutely right. And fantastic result there for Seb Bogart. Another win. This is really going to start to seal that championship lead, although Damie Hartman is close behind. And Seb Bogart takes the checkered flag. Fantastic job from Seb. I've got to say, Damie Hartman will take second place. Fantastic job from him. Baz de Breen coming through the chicane now. Will take third. Great run from the Renault driver there. Really using his head as well. Fantastic job there. Boy Williamson for Mercedes coming through now the final chicane. He takes P4. And Hans van der Berg crosses the line. Takes P5. Nicky Visser takes P6. Mark Stappers, P7. Fantastic race from him as well. Peter Phillips comes over the line. Takes P8.
Good drive from Phillips. Good drive from Phillips as well. So, I mean, he started P16, Phillips.
Yeah, definitely. Great race from him. Guido Airshine.
Guido's had some really bad luck this race.
He really hasn't really been his race at all. But, such is life. And Jamie Collane crosses the line. Picks up a point. He's going to be one to watch as well. Let's not discount him.
I've always got my eye on Jamie. Because I spent a lot of time with him in Synergy. So yeah, he's representing our league. But great drive from Bogard. Again, another flawless victory. Really, almost looks too easy for him sometimes.
It almost does, doesn't it? I've got to say, it almost does. But fantastic win there for Seb Bogart. Great result. He's going to be happy with that. But important for Damie to stay there as well, being that P2, and Baz de Breen picking up valuable points there as well in P3. Got to say, fantastic race. Really was. Absolutely superb race, wasn't it?
Yeah. They're always entertaining these F1 Tonight races, but yeah, it was a really good race. Lots of action, and I don't know if you want to call driver of the day at all.
Well, I'll let you take the lead on this, Adrian. We are in agreement, so you can announce driver of the day for this evening, certainly.
Well, it's we discussed it kind of off air while we've been talking on it, but it's never an easy call. But yeah, we're going to give it to Boy Williamson. As I said, it was a double recovery drive from him. Started P5, terrible start, and just worked his way back up to fifth, and then dropped down again to ninth. And back up again to fourth place, and it was, as I said, it was a totally different car almost in the final stint as what it was in the first stint.
Definitely,
and,
fantastic drive from
brilliant.
Boy, and a well deserved.
Language
whatever it may be, a well deserved driver of the day. So next week, where are we going to be next week? He says, waiting for the screen to come up and tell him because he can't remember.
It's Monza after...
Monza!
Yeah, I always remember Monza after Spa.
So, Monza, the iconic Italian track. Another track that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that third sector, that long straight as you're coming out, the double chicanes that you've got obviously coming out of, into turns 1 and 2. And then as you're coming out of the straight into sector 2 as well, it's a great track, fast track, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it's actually the fastest on the calendar. I think it's about 145 mile an hour average speed.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I can well believe that. So next week we are going to be at Monza. Join us. Same place. Well, no, because we're going to be in Monza. Same time though. So 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. We hope you've enjoyed it. We're looking to improve every broadcast as time goes on. Do let us know what you think. Please do give us feedback. If you're interested in joining for the UK F1 League, then do contact us via Facebook. From me, it's a good night.
And it's a good night, mate. Thank you.